So here we are, we're in Stockholm. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. As you can see, wherever you go, it's surrounded by water, and that's because it's based around 14 different islands. And you get that whole kind of Venetian buzz going on because you get all the boats, you get all the bridges, you get all of the frenetics. And you know what the Swedes are like. You know, they're beautiful, they're blonde. So it's a really energetic, very cool city. And Swedish cooking, I truly believe, is one of the unsung heroes of the cooking of the world. It's an underrated food. Being one of the most unpolluted countries in Europe, they've got great produce, amazing ingredients, so therefore the food is really clean, really fresh. So what you'll see around here is some of the best seafood you're ever going to get. Beautiful smoked fish, cured fish, shellfish is incredible. And because of their long, drawn-out winters, they've always been a nation of foragers and picklers, preservers, you know, drying, smoking, stuff like that. So it's a really intelligent food, and I just want to learn more. So it should be a good trip. Right, you've got to check this place out. It's brilliant. It's great. This place, I love it, even though it's an old concept. I think it's so modern and exciting. Basically, it was about bringing the market outside, inside. So they've got restaurants, cafes, they've got specialists in fish and meat. This place started in 1880. I've been here a few times before, and basically what's lovely about this, it has a certain atmosphere, unlike a supermarket. You know, there's sort of 30, 40 different purveyors here, and they're all experts. Every stand does something slightly different. This guy here specialises in moose, elk, deer, you know, cured meats and stuff.
So this is reindeer.
This is the reindeer.
It's got a lovely colour on it.
It's got a look at that colour. It's
Yeah,
deep red, huh? Very lean.
It doesn't have a lot of fat, the animal.
Oh my God.
So it's good for preservation as well. It lasts for a long time.
It's bloody delicious.
It's really good.
You do this preserved or cured reindeer heart.
That's a heart.
This we definitely would have never have seen in England.
That's very nutritious, that is. This is what the hunters, when they go out in the forest for a long time, they keep this in the pocket and they go carving.
Oh really? So it's like
Yeah.
jerky, almost like, yeah.
Sure.
Wow.
This is good for you, too.
What I find amazing about all the Swedish people is their English is better than mine. So this is the heart. Heart is so delicious. It tastes like really good roast beef sort of vibe, but there's a tiny sort of element of almost tongue about it.
Yeah, very much like tongue.
Yeah, it's yummy. Look at this. This section has all the fish and all the cured fish. Beautifully laid out. The crayfish here, lobster, langoustine, that's a raw fish cake. You know, big old salmon fillets. That must be delicious to eat. My God. Right, I'm gonna make a delicious dish that I grew up doing. The first time I did this, I was about 10 years old in Essex. It was lovely. Salmon gravalax. I've got one hell of a big old salmon here. It's been filleted. Any fishmonger will do that. It's been pin-boned. They'll all do that too. And we're going to put salt and sugar. We're going to flavour it, and we're going to leave it for 48 hours to make basically a cured salmon dish. Now, I've got 8 tablespoons of rock salt. Go on first. And obviously it's the salt, that's the classic bit, that's the thing that is going to cure this salmon. It's going to draw out water and sort of the fattiness of the fish. Don't go thinking you can't do this. You could have a much smaller salmon fillet and do this, and that's about 3-4 tablespoons of sugar there, brown sugar I've used. I'm going to hit it with some extra flavour. This is not classic, but it's stuff that excites me. I've got some fresh horseradish. To be honest, you could use the jarred stuff, but not the creamed jarred stuff, just the grated jarred stuff. Just a couple of heaped tablespoons. Horseradish goes in, and then the same with the beetroots. Now, beetroots, classic Swedish vegetable. They go mad for it, they love it. You know, 2 or 3 medium-sized beetroots. the flavour and the colour will penetrate the fish. Just get myself some schnapps. You want about 2 shots of schnapps. So pat this around, make sure all the salt's sitting on top of the fish. And then the big flavour really, the classic flavour of gravalax, dill. You know, I've really, really fallen in love with dill since being in Sweden. Beautiful. And then you'll see these a lot at the moment, dill or fennel flowers. Pull these off, nothing wrong with it. They actually taste almost a bit more aniseedy. Just put them around like that. And then lemon zest. All this is beautiful flavour that's going to get sucked in to that gravalax. I'm going to wrap it in cling film, just over the top. Gravalax, lax meaning salmon, gravel meaning sort of grave. When they originally did the gravalax, they would bury the salmon fillet in salt, wrapped in beech bark, and they put like, you know, maybe a couple of foot, even more maybe, of sand on top of it. So it'd be like weighed down like this. So all I do is get a couple of breeze blocks, whatever, wrap it in tin foil, or, you know, some mineral water bottles or stuff like that, whatever you can get your hand on, and just put it on the salmon like that. And it will just press it down, put it in the fridge, and leave it for about 2 days. Look at that. So at this point you can see all the liquid here that's come out of the fish, and that naturally happens when you've weighed it and left it. Push all of the salt off. Look at that. Ridiculous colour. I'm just going to use kitchen paper and just pat it off. Look, the colour's still there. It's stained. Okay, so at this point in the game, we need to get rid of the skin. Just angle the knife like this. So you get onto the skin and just follow it down. Some part of me thinks I've got slightly oversized salmon fillet here. Could have made me laugh a bit easier, I think. So then you get rid of that skin. Don't need that. I'm going to slice up this little baby. You try and do it as fine as you can, and you only carve what you need. It will last in your fridge probably for at least 2 weeks if you wrap it in cling film. Now you're starting to see what it is that we wanted to achieve. You've got the beetroot, the horseradish, the lemon, that little touch of schnapps and salt and sugar. Really, really good. I'm going to plate this up the way I used to do it as a kid in my dad's pub. I was 10 years old when I first did this. I remember doing it. I thought it was bonkers, admittedly, but, you know, this is proper 1980s retro glamour. I'm starting to sound like Gokwan. It's all about the confidence. Love a bit of Gok. So that's the gravalax, right? What I want to do is show you a classic sauce that goes with that. Really simple. You get yourself some sour cream, right? Whole grain mustard goes in. For 8 people, you do about 8 heaped tablespoons of sour cream and a good heaped teaspoon, if not 2, of the mustard. Hit it with pepper. A little bit of lemon zest, again, is never a bad thing. Some lemon juice, because that's going to work with the salmon a real treat. And then some dill. There you go. Just something I love having with it is a quick dressed salad. Cucumber, dill, onions, radishes, but you can do it with any crunchy veg. A pinch of sugar, salt, and lemon juice or vinegar. Sort of a pickle dressing. There we go. Happy days. So, let me just show you what I think is like the perfect way to have this sort of food. You have your nice little pickled salad just on the side. Get yourself some dill or dill flowers and put it on this salmon. And when we get some of that lovely sour cream, I just put a little bit around. Heavenly. Serve it with some nice bread, like that. Little wedge of lemon. And for me, that sort of food is just brilliant. Dill on top. It's so different. And what I do, which is sort of what they don't do, is just a little bit of nice olive oil. For me, it sums up everything about Swedish cooking because it's elegant, it's tasty, it's clean. You know, it's got a bit of a smack to it. Look at this. Salmon, sour cream, and then just put it in your gob and think Sweden. And you know what? The reason why you should have a little dinner party or family get together and do that, is because when you do it, you'll feel as proud as I do now, which is like, I did that. Brilliant. One of the things you've got to do when you come to Stockholm is get on any of the hire boats and go out to the Archipelago, which is 24,000 beautiful islands. You've got to check it out. It's fantastic. It's amazing that we're picking wild mushrooms, wild blueberries, you know, and you can still hear the boats around. And it must be, what, 200 metres to the sea?
Yeah, and it is the sea. It's not a lake.
Look, Anna, look at that. I mean, it is like magic though, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something about it. Can I pick this one?
Yeah, you can.
Because it's been a while since I've had one of these.
Oh,
You always go to the root and
yeah.
just give it a little twizzle.
Oh, very nice.
This is incredible. I mean, it's just
Look at
full
it.
of blueberries. I've never seen nothing like this.
It's really nice to be able to show you something so special.
Yeah. Do you have wild animals on this island?
Yes, we have got elk.
Really?
And of course,
Which
it's
is
going to be...
part of the deer family or the reindeer family? Was it moose?
Well, it's a moose, yeah. I grew up doing this. The thing is, when people pick mushrooms, some people just don't know what they're doing, and it's very dangerous. I mean, they're deadly.
Look at these. Oh, my Lord. Fantastic.
It's like finding gold, isn't it?
It is like finding gold. Well, it is finding gold. This is what the Swedish call a chanterelle.
Isn't it pretty? It's got a frilly skirt.
It
Very
is
beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful. If I was in the restaurant in London, we'd call this a girole, because a chanterelle's a totally different mushroom to us. Here's the thing, right, chefs, we pay £37 a kilo of these. I reckon I could pick a kilo in 10 minutes. I mean, they're everywhere. It's like an infestation.
Yeah.
This is a very normal, common part of Swedish life, isn't it?
It is. Every August, September, you find people every weekend out there, and it's a bit like finding gold because they get there before you. Oh, look. Isn't he beautiful?
But look how he camouflages in with all the leaves.
Yeah, he's the same colour as the leaves.
And he loves a little bit of the old mushroom.
Oh, I lost my chance. I should have kissed him.
You should have kissed him. You would have been a strapping Viking.
Prince here.
Yeah.
I don't need another one.
Okay, so we're going to do pan-fried mushrooms with the lovely Anna.
Simplicity is usually the best way. With chanterelles, I mean, you've got this wild food. It should taste of what it is, rather than adding all sorts of complicated
Ingredients and stuff. What I tend to do, which I'm sure is the same as you do, is just get a little brush, regular brush, and brush away any bits of soil or any bugs. If they're really gritty, you can get a damp cloth and just wipe them. But the thing is, if you wash them in loads of water, they just suck up the water and it ends up like a... Yeah, boiled mushrooms are kind of gross. I normally put a little bit of, you know, butter in the pan. That will really help to bring out the nuttiness. Gonna go in with some sea salt. There we go. I've got some lovely onions here. I know you don't normally put onions in your mushrooms, do you?
No.
Tiny pinch of pepper.
Delicious.
A little bit of the onions.
Good.
I'm going to kind of do it in a Swedish style in the sense of just a swig of cream at the last minute.
Yes.
There's your brother.
What's he doing? When I first came to this island 30 years ago, my brother bought this island. My parents stayed in one end and my brother on the other end. We didn't have any electricity or anything. It was so beautiful and unspoilt, and there was no running water. Now we take the water from the sea and desalinate
They
it.
clean it, yeah.
And there was something quite romantic about that, and a wonderful way of life.
I'm going to put a pinch of chopped parsley in, and at the same time, I'm going to put
Oh, yes.
a little cream.
Yeah.
Now, I
little
don't
cream,
read the
yeah.
label here. I think this is just like a single or double cream.
This is whipping cream. You
Right.
whip it, and it's not thick like English cream.
That is a picture and a half.
Isn't that delicious?
You can see it's taken on the flavour of the mushroom, and it's gone almost, look at the colour of that. It's like almost the same colour as the mushroom. Such a beautiful thing.
Good.
I'm just going to put that mushroom onto the plate. This is a lovely way to cook mushrooms. You know, any kind of mushroom actually. Lovely over a bit of roasted or pan-fried fish, or even poached fish. Lovely with, you know, steak. So there you go. I mean, that, for me, that is simplicity itself, isn't it? Pan-fried
Beautiful.
mushrooms, just a swig of cream. And we're just going to have it with some torn-up bread, aren't we, darling?
Yeah.
Would you say this is quite Swedish?
Yeah, I would say it's
Yeah.
very Swedish.
But look at that. Just a beautiful mushroom. Right, good.
It's beautiful. I love it. I would add a bit of salt. What do you reckon, Jamie? A little bit more
It's
salt?
all right for my palate, sweetheart, but, you know, all those salted herrings you have over here.
Oh, I love this. Beautiful.
Wow.
It was that salt. Did it?
So, Johan, all around town there's these little kind of coffee bars where they make all these lovely buns and stuff, and yours is one of the best in town. I mean, what I never appreciated was just how much coffee and cakes are a massive part of Swedish life. You're the second biggest consumers of coffee in the world.
Yeah, we are.
Which is like,
We try to be the first one.
it's
but,
amazing. What do you think makes Swedish buns and breads stand out from the rest of Europe?
the spices we use. Almost like taking it over the top. If we're
Like
gonna use
attitude.
if we're gonna use cardamom, we use a lot. If we use cinnamon, it has to taste what it looks like.
Great. Okay, Johan, we're making these classic Swedish, like snap breads, aren't they? And,
Yeah.
And what's the word in Swedish?
Knäcke.
Knäcke, which means crack.
Yes.
Okay. So what we've got, whole wheat here,
Yes.
and then what's this flour? This is a classic
Rye flour.
rye flour.
Seed. So it's really fine.
Beautiful. I'm just going to mix all these together, the salt, the yeast, the sourdough, the
Yep.
whole wheat, the rye flour.
We got the honey and then we got water.
Give me a honey, baby. So that honey
Yeah.
just gives just a little bit of sweetness to
Yeah.
it.
Rye flour and the honey is really good together.
Funny, I've always wanted to learn how to make this. I mean, my mum used to buy all those Swedish breads as a
Yeah.
kid. You know, I guess the versions would be like rye vita and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. And I always used to think, how the hell do they make those?
But it's really simple.
Very
It's one of the
simple.
simplest bread you can make. Then we're gonna wrap it in plastic and leave it in the fridge.
Lovely.
It can actually rest for 24 hours.
Yeah. You've got some in the fridge we can use now, have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So use a lot of flour.
Would you want it rolled out like this big?
Yeah. It's gonna be like one millimeter. It's really thin.
1 millimetre thick?
Yes.
Well, I better be good then. What was the history of this kind of bread?
The history is that the bread was traditionally made for long journeys.
Right, to put on boats and,
Yeah.
so it would last
Yeah.
and be able to sustain the army.
Yeah.
So this is really a Viking bread.
Yeah.
The Vikings were so incredibly effective. They'd be eating their salt cod and their flatbreads like this, and they
This is the history.
go and kick
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
So what sort of temperature do you cook this at?
220 degrees.
Okay, so this is your pricker.
Yes. Otherwise,
this-
it's gonna get too much bubbles on it.
You could just use a couple of forks to do this.
Yeah,
couldn't you?
sure.
I quite like that on my back.
Yeah,
actually.
that's nice.
Little Swedish massage.
And we use some egg wash.
Okay, and is that
That's
to kind of
because-
make the spices stick?
Yes, so it's gonna stick. So I think we're gonna spice with caraway seeds.
Caraway seeds, okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me about caraway seeds. You've got all these delicate buns and breads here, but you've got these pungent spices.
Yeah.
It's nice though. I mean, when you're using it very boldly and confidently, aren't you?
Yeah, if I'm gonna eat a cinnamon bun, I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
I want to feel it.
You're going to kick a bit
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, get in there. We're going to cook these.
Yes, and it's gonna take 10 minutes.
Okay. Classic.
Yeah. Let's break it.
Look at that. I love it. It's good warm, huh?
Yeah. So
Oh.
now it's a little bit soft.
Wow.
Yeah. That's good with a beer.
It's pungent.
Yeah.
I'd love that with a
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
Or two. So what I'm going to do now is a delicious Swedish-style bun, right? You could have it as a bun with coffee and tea, or even a dessert back home in England with a bit of custard. It's going to be delicious. I've picked these wild blueberries, which are going to be amazing. So in here, I've got some tepid or just warm milk, right? 375 grams with 1 sachet, which is 7 grams of dried yeast. Just mix it up, give it like 3 or 4 minutes. You can see it starting to froth up there, and it just activates the dry yeast. And then in a bowl, I'm going to add 2 medium-sized eggs. So I want a nice pinch of salt going into the 2 eggs. I think Swedish food is really surprising. You know, it's clean, it's fresh, it's elegant, it's gorgeous, but then, you know, it gets spanked by this confident, bold use of like spices. These are the cardamoms here. Just take the green outer husk off, and then you've got the seeds there in the middle. So I just peeled about, I don't know, 20 of those, and I just pound it up in a pestle and mortar. So I'm going to put about just over a teaspoon of bashed up cardamom in there. 200 grams of sugar goes in, just white sugar, like that. You can see it changing colour. And I'm just going to put in 50 grams of melted butter, regular butter. So I've added all that in there. You can see it's starting to fluff up. I'm going to put the 375 mils of tepid milk and yeast in. And then all I'm going to do now is add about 750 grams of plain flour. All right, that's 500. I want 750. I'm going to put the flour straight in. And what I want to do is I want to put the first 500 grams in, and I want it to sort of go a little bit kind of elastic. That's about right. I want it to be like glue, homemade glue. When I was a kid, I used to make glue by just mixing flour and water together. Used to put all my posters on the wall. A little bit of Phil Collins, a little bit of 5 Star, with my tie-dye jeans and my green boating shoes. And you wonder why I didn't have a girlfriend till I was 18? That's why. So look, see, it's almost not breaking off now. That's good. So I've got 250 grams there. And then I'm going to put the rest in. So that's 750 grams in total. You want it to be a dough, but you don't want it to stick all over your hands and sort of make your hands like go sticky. Look at that, there you go. When you touch it, it kind of feels rich, you know? Smells amazing. Now it's a dough. You've got yeast in it, so you need to let it prove. You know, you want it to double in size. So I'm going to put a damp cloth over it, leave it for about an hour to an hour and a half, give or take, until it's doubled in size, like that. And you can see what's happened. You can see the yeast has done its work. See as I open it up? Beautiful. Now, I've got 375 grams of wild blueberries. You can use regular blueberries by all means. Anything basically fruity, sweet and sour. I'm going to put about 75 grams of sugar in, and I'm just going to sort of scrunch it up. The sugar just sort of extracts the juice. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. I want to put some orange juice in it. Just add a little zest. I only want the juice of about half of an orange. Look at that. What a pleasure. Right, so I'm happy. Got my fruit. Get this lovely dough. Put some flour on a board. Not a bad shot. Just going to get my dough, just stretch it. Take this fruit, just bang it in there. Here we go. Lay the berries all across. I want to push the berries in, just bring the dough in and over, sort of, you know. So basically, I've got my, you know, berries trapped in this dough, like that. So it's almost rippled, right? Cut it in two. Got myself a baking tray. I'm going to have an experiment. I'm thinking about other things that I've seen and done. A few little knobs of butter, some brown sugar, just a little handful. There you go. Now, the idea, I've never done this before, is that that butter and sugar sort of caramelises on the bottom, so you get a really nice arse and a really nice face. Now, I want to get about 8 portions out of this. Cut that in half. There's 4. Look, and bear with me, I know it's a mess, but some of the best things in life are a mess. So, like, just hold it up like that, just stretch it, and you can see you've got the little pockets there of, like, fresh dough and the beautiful blueberries, like I saw in that bakery where they were rolling that wonderful pastry around. And they're going to prove again. I'm going to leave these for about probably half an hour. There you go. It's actually one of the prettiest things I think I've seen. Just sprinkle over some sugar, a little bit of orange zest. I mean, it kind of looks like a bit of a car crash, but it also looks like one of the most gorgeous, lovely things in the world. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let them sit for half an hour. They'll puff up a little bit. Pop it in an oven about 180 degrees, you know, 350 Fahrenheit, for about sort of 20, 25 minutes, and they should be lovely. You want to just look at them when they're golden and crisp. Happy days. Have a little look at these babies. Look at my new best friends. Look at that. So good. Can you see where they've sort of proved into each other? You let these little babies cool down, but the idea is, as you eat them, you sort of start tearing them away, and you can see where you get the ripple thing going on. Amazing. Brilliant. Okay, whoever the Swedish god is, give me luck. We've got exactly what I wanted, which is crispy bits. And as soon as that gets to like room temperature, that's going to go snappy, snappy cold. And there you go. A beautiful bun, dish, dessert, inspired by this incredible journey in Sweden. I'm really chuffed with that. Nice one. Skål with coffee. Oh, that's hot. Basically, herring is one of the biggest things in Sweden, but one of the things I'm checking out today is the weirdest thing that they do with herrings. It's basically a fermented herring party. So they tin them up, they ferment, the tins explode, and then they crack them open, and it's supposed to stink. And my Swedish mate said it is repulsive, but it's kind of like a split camp. Some people love it and swear by it, and some people just hate it more than anything else on earth. So I'm here to check it out. Should be interesting. Ruben, you're head of the Fermented Herring Association.
The Fermented Herring Academy, to be correct, yes.
Ah, right.
And we want to inform the world, so to speak, because we have something in Sweden that is something else. It's not like meat, it's not like fish, it's not like this or that or whatever. If you ask me, how does it taste, what is it? It's different.
Yeah.
It's not like anything else. It tastes different. And I want to tell that story.
Oh, I can't wait to taste it.
I have invited some friends.
The tension's building, I'm getting excited.
This is it, my friends. Hey, allihop!
Hello! Where do you want me to sit?
Sit here, because I want to have close contact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Jamie, nice to meet you. So this fish is so fermented that the tin has started to bulge.
No, yeah, but that's nothing. Here you see another brand. Now we're talking. You know what British Air did?
British Airways?
Yeah, they said you are not allowed to transport this in a cabin because it could be used as a terrorist weapon. You can hear a certain sound. Okay.
Can't smell anything yet.
And I tell you, no.
Oh my God! Oh my God! For God's sake! That's like a stink bomb.
God bless you.
It's downwind. You're downwind.
It's sublime. You can have a smell here if you want.
Sublime.
You know,
That is like eggs. That's like rotten eggs. But the fish looks like it's in good condition.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. I will clean the fish now and make the classical form. I try to make a beautiful fillet.
Oh, it does. It definitely smells.
Back like this.
So you scrape it off the skin.
Yeah, just one little piece of bread and then one slice of potato, one little piece of the fish,
Okay.
very, very small, like, more or less like taste, sour cream.
I'm a little bit scared.
No, you can actually have the taste. And now we want the truth. What is the truth?
A lot. I wasn't sure if I should trust you because the smell was very aggressive. But it was delicious.
It is delicious.
Delicious. It's kind of got that pungency, that saltiness,
Yeah.
like a good cheese or a good cured meat, that sort of hum. But it's not horrible. It's a nice thing. Do you think I'm ready for that?
No, maybe not. Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's beautiful. The fish isn't a fish. I think it's wrong to think of it like a fish. Think of it like if you've ever smelled fish sauce. It smelled horrible. It's almost like a seasoning. My brain is telling me don't eat it, but my palate is telling me it's delicious. So this is the vintage one.
And this is this is fantastic.
Oh my God! I'm presuming that Swedish men never get to make love on this night.
No.
I'm in the middle of Stockholm, in the Royal Cavalry Guards sort of headquarters where they do all the training and stuff like that. And I just thought it would be interesting to see a classic Stockholm dish, or Swedish dish actually. It's a split pea soup with ham hock, a little broth and herbs. And every Thursday they have this dish. And you know, if you go around any institutions, from hospitals, old people's homes, primary schools, secondary schools, even go into restaurants on a Thursday on the special board, they'll have this soup. It's an absolute classic. And they have it literally every Thursday. And also the thing they have to have with it is pancakes and jam as well. So this is a real classic kind of traditional dish. This dish actually comes from the Middle Ages, 14th century. But yet, even still now, they're doing it on a Thursday. Great. How you doing?
Fine.
Oh dear. Well, this is a bit weird for me, coming into your barracks. Tell me about this dish here. Did you grow up with this?
Yeah.
Every Thursday?
Yeah.
Is it any good?
Yeah, it's good. But you don't have any mustard?
Oh, is that the key? I'm liking your style. Two.
You got it.
Tough boys, huh?
It works.
You're going to blow my head off, aren't you?
If you don't add mustard, it's going to be really thin.
Okay. Cheap to make. Fills you up. Gives you a load of energy. This tastes good. I've got to be honest, this is good. I like it.
Yeah, it is.
Right, I'm going to do a delicious dish, a fish dish. I'm going to be embracing some of the best seasonal stuff in Sweden at the moment. I've got some wonderful pike perch. Look at this, right? This is the local fish. It kind of looks like sea bass fillet. It's dense. It smells lovely. Doesn't smell of fishy in the slightest. It's been filleted, scaled. It's had all the pin bones taken out. Here we go. Look at that. As you do you know what I mean? It's a bit weird cooking here, but it's such a pleasure to see it. Royal Guard. It's all very nice, really, isn't it? I said, look, I just want to do a bit of cooking here. They've been so accommodating. I said, I need a table or something to cook on. So they just delivered this ammunition box. And I just hope it's got nothing in it with a gas bottle. But look, there's the fish. It looks beautiful. I'm not going to do anything clever or flash. I'm just going to prepare it nice and simply. I want to divide this into 4 lovely, generous portions. So I'm going to get this fillets here. I'm just going to pinch it like this and then just score it a little bit. Now that lets me do 2 things. Seasoning go in, also it lets the heat in and it lets the fish cook evenly. So I'm just going to score this little baby. Now, I'm using pike perch here. You could use any other nice white fish. Drizzle it with a little olive oil. Rub it all over. And then some salt, tiny bit of pepper. Dry pan, skin side down, right? A bit of pressure on the flesh, right? Just to get that skin flat to the pan, right? Or use a fish slice. So I'm gonna let that cook. Okay, beetroots. There's this method of cooking beets that's amazing. Think about a jacket potato, yeah? So I've put some rock salt in the bottom of the tray and I've just washed the beets, the skin's still on, and I've baked them for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, about 190, until you can put a knife through them and they're soft, right? So when they are soft, right, I'm gonna just take the skin off, just pinch it, and what it will do, by cooking it like this, you'll intensify the flavour. If you've got all purple beets, you put them all in together. If you have got these lovely mixed coloured beets, don't put the purple ones in because they'll all go purple. So I'm gonna leave those purple ones to the very end. Look at the colour of those beets. I've just given it about 4 minutes, skin side down, get it crispy, flipped it over, you know, another sort of 3 minutes. And then here with the beets, all I want to do is run my knife through them into little quarters. Look at that colour. And all I'm going to do with this is dress it with all of those beautiful Swedish flavours that we've learned about. We're going to hit it with salt, we're going to add some pepper, some nice chive, let's get some dill, nice big hunk of dill, and then finally slice them. Just peel this onion back a little bit, just finely slice it, get the onions in, sprinkle them. Now let's get some of that dill pollen, and then the magic bit, some olive oil and some vinegar. I've got some red wine vinegar here. You could use cider vinegar, you could use lemon juice if you wanted to. And the whole idea of baking those beets is that they kind of intensify, but then they're kind of gagging for a bit of moisture. So the minute you put the oil and the herbs and the vinegar on, you know, they're sort of like, oh, thank you very much. Because they could. Now I feel like I've got the salt and pepper, the vinegar right, we've got the herbs in there, then I'm gonna come back and slice the purple ones in. If I put them in at the beginning, all of that will be purple now. Let's have a look at this fish. Lovely. Now what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to put a little olive oil in a pan, like that. I'm then going to sort of embrace some of those spices that we've met over the last few days. You know, surprisingly to me, the Swedes go in for the caraway seeds, you know, some of the more pungent flavours. I want to go for this dill pollen. You could use fennel seeds, absolutely, for a similar kind of flavour. I'm just going to put it in the pan like this. And for the last part of its sort of cooking, right, because the fish is nearly done now, just give it that bit of freshness and love. If I'd have put it on at the beginning, you know, it would have died away. A few bits of spinach. Honestly, the things my mother did to spinach when I was a kid, you know, it's like abuse. You haven't got to boil spinach, just literally put it on a pan towards the end of its life, a little bit of salt, and you see what happens to that in 30 seconds. So let's plate these little babies up. Look at that. Beautiful beets. Absolute celebration, I think, of Swedish food. Great colours, look at that. And then in the pan here, I'm going to put a few knobs of butter in and around. Stop that cooking process with just literally half a squeeze of lemon. Look at that. Beautiful fish. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to like muck around with fish. That flavour of this, it's so good. So, so good. I'm gonna plate a portion up by just taking a few lovely beets onto a plate. A little bit of spinach in the middle. Nice big old brave chunk of fish, like that. And then, just to finish it off, some sour cream. Just gonna give it a little pinch of salt. Little gesture of lemon, doesn't need much. We get a little bit of sour cream, just little drops over the beets. You know, that is beautiful. So there you go, my little lovely pike perch, beautiful beets, and a little sour cream. Look at that. Beautiful. It's an incredible fish. I'm chuffed with that, chuffed to bits. You want some grub, mate? Come on then. Here, look. Is it loaded?
No, it's not.
Do you want me to hold it for you?
Yeah, sure, do it.
Have you ever tried cutting an onion with this?
No, I haven't actually.
Have a little go on that, brother.
It's really good. It's better than the food in there.
There's a little fishing boat out there and he's just putting a big old net down and he's catching all sorts of fish and shrimp and stuff like that. And literally, it's 50 metres away from where the Prime Minister lives. You wouldn't do that in the Thames, would you? All right, boys. Look, they've caught a whole load. Different pike, perch and stuff like that. What are you going to do with these fish?
We're gonna use them as bait when we fish crayfish
Yeah.
tonight.
You put them in a basket?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So it's cool. Do you know what I mean? They just do, in the day, they hang about with their buddies, catch a few little perch, put the worlds to rights, and then they'll go and bung them in the old nets, sink them, go back in the morning, and they'll be full of crayfish. And of course, this is August, you know, it's crayfish time of year. You like crayfish?
Yes, I like.
Yeah? One of the nice things about Stockholm is 1/3 of it is water. That makes the city totally different. You know, like, the city, inner city is kind of like, it's exciting, but it's kind of tough. But I think with Stockholm, it feels like the countryside has come to the city. I just sort of think, you know, as a father, it's sort of just really nice to sort of go around the city, and I think they've got quite a lot right here. The kids grow up doing fairly natural things, you know, best of both worlds. I'd be really happy with my kids growing up here. It'd be lovely.